Okay, this is going to be the last video for these pieces, and you can see this is the 2 drawer after the glue has dried, and this 3 drawer after the glue is dried. Remember, we cut these down a little bit. Now, one of the legs, because those legs are pretty small, they're only about 5 millimeters, was a little too high, and when I was sanding it, it still hasn't gotten to like the exact correct level. So I want to show you a couple of things that you need to do to these pieces before you put these on. I may have touched on them in the previous video. And then we're going to talk about drawer pulls and different stuff that you can do that's kind of fun that I really didn't do much of in these original pieces. These are just pretty standard, you know. It's got a little pearlescent kind of pin head on there. So I'm going to take these two and set them over here for a second. Now, one of the things that you need to remember to do before you glue this on is to go around and make sure that there's nothing rising up too much. And you can see on this one, you can see that little bit of white right there by my knuckle. I'm not going to have a heart attack about that because I can glue this on top and it'll go away. So there's no reason to look at that one. This one, it glued pretty good, and nothing's hanging over the edge. So for this one, all I need to do is make sure that all of these little areas, remember the little white bits that drive me nuts, and again, you don't have to do it, because if they don't drive you nuts, you know, don't worry about it. I'm going to go in and make sure these are all covered. And everything looks pretty good on the bottom as well. So I'm going to consider this one ready to be glued. Now, if we look at this one, there's nothing hanging off this side. There's a tiny bit hanging over there, but it's not going to kill me. And this right here, because this, I wanted to show you this one. It got kind of a funky glue. You can see that there was some swelling in there that I didn't pay close enough attention to. And even though it is foam and I can kind of press it in a little harder, it's never going to like go completely back in. That's not going to be a problem because I can cover it up with this. Now, if there is a problem, you've glued it down and you have way too much hanging over, like if there was a more like a centimeter poking up here, you'd need to cut that off. Now you can do that 2 different ways. If you want to, you can cut it off holding your scissors very close and then cutting it off. This is the method that I would recommend to you. Just make sure that your scissors are clean and you're like stable when you're doing it. This is something that I do a lot. Sometimes, though, I need to use a blade to do it because the piece is maybe too tiny and my scissors can't get onto it. Now, I recommend not using this type of X-Acto blade, but one of these blades. And I put a brand new fresh blade in here. And you can see I can extend the blade out. One of the reasons I like using these for that sort of thing is because of this. I'm going to hold the piece and I'm going to extend it out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What I can do is I can press the blade close while keeping this bulky part out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and do it on this one. So when I'm pressing down, you can see the blade is coming up a bit, or the knife is coming up a bit. And I'm just going to, I go really slowly, and you can see what a small piece it sliced off. That's something that I will do if I need to. It's it's usually with a piece where it's so tiny I can't get it with the blades. And another reason why I haven't been using scissors is because these are not fabulous scissors. I'm still looking for another pair of like fairly decent scissors that I can afford, or I just need to save for some new scissors because these were not great scissors when I bought them. So once that's done, again, make sure that you come in and take care of anything that's going to be close to this top part. This is the reason why I like using this one. There's something a little bit more stable about this. And again, I'm doing that weird thing where I hook in my pen cap instead of sticking it on the end. Now, I just colored that in because I'm weird. You don't need to do that. Okay, looks like everything's okay down here. Now, all of that aside, because I think I'll probably be demonstrating this method again and again with some future pieces that are a little bit more complex. So don't worry, I'll be doing it again. Now what I want to talk about is the fact that you can do, I'm going to take these and move these off because they'll get their tops glued on. Let's look at these two. We're going to put some drawer pulls on them. And I think I talked last time about using, you can use a needle or a thumbtack to poke these holes. I'm just using something that I know is bigger than the pins that I'll be using. And you can pretty clearly see that there's a little dot there. I made them pretty small just so in case you want to put something pretty small there, you're not going to have to worry about covering it up. And the smaller means it's more precise. Ooh, I need to get that. That got... Man, I am so dog and butterfly squirrely girl. Okay, there we go. Now, I talked in the past about doing some things that were kind of fun. So in these here, I have pre-clipped some different colors. If I can get them out of here. Some different colors of drawer pulls. And since I put blue paper on the bottom, I might want to put blue drawer pulls on them. Who knows? Now, I am a huge fan of these like iridescent pins, or not pins, sequins. And let's sprinkle a couple out here. I just pulled a couple out. And these have, they cup on one side and then they kind of dome out on the other. So if you wanted to come in here and do something more like this, let's say you were making this and you wanted it to be a little fancier, I think that's adorable with the little shiny bit. There's some other kinds of sequins that you can get. I think these are fun ones to use as well, that have kind of a little pattern on them. And I get a lot of my sequins. This is not sponsored. Savannah Sequins. She sells on eBay and she also sells on Etsy. I like the fact that she sells pretty small amounts of them because I don't use a whole lot when I'm working. Another thing that you can do is I've got, remember the short little pins that you can use to attach sequins to things? You can also use them with beads and make specific drawer pulls like that. Now, you'll need to make sure that the pin doesn't like go through the hole. And I like that, but I'm not sure. Sometimes what you'll need to do is you'll need to add a little seed bead on the end. And I think I had a seed bead here, but I didn't like that it was clear. So let's see what I got here. There are these. They're kind of nice. And this is nice if you want something kind of metallic on there to be seen. Oh, I kind of like that. And then that's a little bit fancier. And then I might also want to add, where did I put them? Because I'm being kind of fancy. Well, but I'm using a silver pen. Let's see what that looks like. Sometimes And it, you know, it depends. Do you want the little sequin to go forward or backward? And you don't have to have these special kinds of pins either. I just seem to have these on hand. Most of the time, I had demonstrated to you that I just use a pair of nippers and just cut these. Now, if you're also like me and you have a lot of glass-headed pins, you can use these as well. So maybe I want to use this one with that instead, and I really like that. I think that might look really cool. This might be just a little bit too large for that. So you really kind of just want to play with it. Now, once you've decided on what you want, the gluing, you might wish, because you're gluing something that has metal in it, you might wish to use a glue that will handle this kind of metal. And you'll also want to make sure that there's a bit of glue on the outside portion. So you kind of have to decide, do I want to do that? Do I want to do this? Do I like it better? I mean, is this too small for a drawer pull? Maybe for a smaller, or maybe two, but that's too small. Or do I want to just do a pull like that? If you're going to do something that this is glass and metal, I definitely suggest you use something like a Gorilla Glue. I like Gorilla Glue Clear. It really does hold things together. So if you're going to be using glass beads and just metal pins, that's what I suggest. These plastic bits here can be held in place very easily. The plastic sequins can be held very easily in place by the regular what do you call it, tacky glue. So it's basically just, what do you want to do? These are all pony beads. I got these, I want to say this was what size were these? These were the not pony beads. It's a type of bead that, I want to say it's a 10. I cannot remember. So, you know, you can try all kinds of different beads on here. You don't have to stick to what I'm doing. Now, if you also decide that you would rather have different feet than the ones that are here, and you're like, okay, I've tried this method and I just don't like it. It's too much stuff. Another way that you can add feet onto these is by using wooden beads. Now, this would mean that you would need to cut everything off, and I kind of think that looks cute with the little bead underneath there. I'm probably going to make some more pieces with the little beads as feet. You will need to use a toothpick to help you mount them. And the mounting is pretty simple. You can see here I've cut off the tip of that, and you would just need to glue it into place and make sure the glue dries. And if there's any poking out, you might want to sand that, or maybe you don't. Maybe you kind of like how that looks. And then you trim it, and then you can poke the hole with the toothpick and put it in. I'm at the point where I've got more pieces that I'm working on, and I really would like to try something with some beads, because there's part of me that's kind of like, I kind of like how that looks. Like, instead of using these legs, you know, use these legs. I think that would look kind of neat. But right now I'm kind of like up to my eyeballs. 7 different things. Some things I get online, like, you know, my sequins, some of these beads, but then the wooden beads that I got at the dollar store. And, you know, they aren't the most fabulous things in the world. You can find other ones that are a little better. I got these because I wanted to make something for my hat. and I used about half of them. I just had some more left over. So, I hope that that helps out with the decorations and things that you would like to do with your pieces. And remember, what you are making for yourself. Take everything that I've offered you with kind of a grain of salt. Do things the way that you want to do them. Because these are your things. I'm just kind of offering you an opportunity for how to put these things together. So, with that, I am going to call this tutorial to an end. There will be more tutorials. The tutorial that we're going to do after this, let me see, that was the last thing I should have pulled out. Let's see if I can find it in here. As you listen to my voice and go, why am I listening to this? There she is. I just made a post today about this piece. We're going to be making a piano. Your piano will not have these on them because I just did not like these. And you can see it's got a bottom. I think I would really like to put some legs on it so it kind of stands up. But you can see there is a keyboard. We don't have anything down here yet, but we've got a keyboard here, which I think looks really cool. There's some slight differences between what you'll be making and what I have on hand to make. So this is not the only piano we're going to make. We're actually going to make several pianos because I was kind of shocked to find out that there's I have 7 pianos. And I know for sure I want to make at least 4 of them. So, thank you, patrons. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you in the next video where we start putting together a little piano, a little upright piano. So, see you then.